Samsung's Galaxy S26 launch timeline is finally starting to come into focus, and if you've been waiting to upgrade, these are the dates you'll want to remember. After weeks of messy rumors and conflicting reports, a fresh update from a Korean publication has brought the full schedule together, and it lines up almost perfectly with what was recently leaked in Europe. Samsung still hasn't confirmed anything officially, but at this point the timeline looks surprisingly solid. The next Galaxy Unpacked event is now expected to happen on February 25th in San Francisco, where Samsung will likely unveil the entire Galaxy S26 family. If that date holds, pre-orders should open immediately after, starting February 26th, giving buyers a chance to lock in their devices early. There's also talk about a special pre-sale window from March 5th to March 10th, although that term is mostly used in South Korea and doesn't really matter for most global buyers. What does matter for almost everyone is the February 25th announcement and the March 11th release date, which is expected to be when the Galaxy S26, Galaxy S26 Plus, and Galaxy S26 Ultra become widely available online and in stores. At first, March 11th might sound a little later than what we're used to from Samsung, and honestly, that reaction makes sense. The Galaxy S25 series went on sale on February 3, 2025, and before that the Galaxy S24 lineup arrived even earlier on January 24, 2024. Going back another year, the Galaxy S23 family began selling on February 17, 2023. Looking at that pattern, Samsung does appear to be gradually pushing its flagship launches later each year. Interestingly, this March 11th date might not be random at all, because the second Friday after February 25th would land on March 13th, and launching a major product on Friday the 13th could come with some bad luck associations. To avoid that, Samsung may have picked March 11th instead, which falls on a Wednesday, a pretty unusual launch day for the company. As always, the most attention is going straight to the Galaxy S26 Ultra, which is shaping up to be the standout model based on early leaks and renders. The standard Galaxy S26 and S26 Plus are expected to look and feel very similar to their predecessors, while the Ultra continues to pull ahead as Samsung's main headline device. That's been the company's strategy for a while now, putting the biggest upgrades into the top model and letting the base versions stay more familiar. At the same time, pricing is becoming one of the biggest unknowns surrounding the entire S26 lineup. With the Galaxy S26 Edge reportedly not happening, all the focus now shifts to whether Samsung will raise prices on the Galaxy S26, S26 Plus, and S26 Ultra. The latest report suggests a price increase in South Korea is almost unavoidable, but that doesn't automatically mean the same will happen everywhere else. There's still a real chance Samsung could keep pricing steady in major regions like the United States and parts of Europe to stay competitive, especially if the phones don't bring major changes in design. And that's really the challenge Samsung is facing this year, because based on what we've seen so far, the Galaxy S26 lineup doesn't look dramatically different from the Galaxy S25 series. If the overall design and experience feel too similar, it becomes a lot harder to justify higher prices outside of markets like South Korea. Many people already believe the Galaxy S25 and S25 Plus still feel modern and powerful enough for pretty much anything, so if Samsung wants people to upgrade, the improvements will need to be meaningful. Of course, rising costs are a real factor here, because component prices across the smartphone industry are going up and manufacturing isn't getting cheaper. But at the same time, it's also widely believed that profit margins on premium models like the Galaxy S25 Ultra are still quite healthy, which is why many buyers are hoping Samsung absorbs some of the cost increases instead of passing everything on to customers. So the big question is whether the Galaxy S26 family is truly worth waiting for, and right now the answer depends on which model you're looking at. There are some upgrades expected across the lineup, including a new processor, possible increases in battery size, faster charging, and some fresh camera sensors and software features. There's even talk of a new privacy display feature that could be a nice bonus for users who care about keeping their screen content more protected in public. But the problem is that not every improvement may be shared equally, because most of the biggest upgrades are expected to land on the Galaxy S26 Ultra. That could leave buyers of the regular Galaxy S26 and even the S26 Plus feeling underwhelmed, especially if the differences from the S25 versions turn out to be small. If that happens, a lot of people may decide it makes more sense to save money and stick with last year's models rather than paying full price for what feels like a minor refresh. In the end, the Galaxy S26 launch schedule now looks more settled than ever, with February 25th likely set for the official reveal and March 11th expected as the release date. Pricing outside South Korea is still up in the air, and the real excitement will depend on how big the final upgrades actually are once Samsung makes everything official. Until then, expectations remain cautious, especially for anyone hoping the Galaxy S26 lineup delivers a major leap forward across the board.